the GIS pathway. Today's tutorial is going to be kind of a cartographic tutorial. It's going to talk about legend properties and a few things that some people kind of look when inserting legends into your layout view. To get right into it, I have my map document here. I've got a roads layer, a school boundaries layer, parcels, and a town limits boundary as well. I'm going to basically focus just on inserting a legend. I'm going to go up to my insert and go to legend. Remember, this has to be done in the layout view and cannot be done in data, your data view here on this other view, which when I go to insert, everything is grayed out. So I need to go into layout view, insert, legend. Now when you open up your legend wizard here, you have several options. You can select from your map layers which legend items you want. Maybe you want just roads, parcels, and towns, or maybe you want well, I've got them all in there now. Let me remove all of them. Maybe you want to select which ones you want. I'm actually going to go put all of them in here for this demonstration. And usually people hit the next button. I just want to bring your attention here right under these boxes. There is a option to set number of columns. You can set columns in your legend, so you don't have just a single column, but you can have multiple columns. I'll show this example by setting a 2 column, and we're going to go with next. Here we have our legend title, and some map makers don't like to have legend titles. They like to just delete it and just have just your basic legend with the description and the actual image which is shown in the map. But for this one, I'm going to do legend. We can justify how we have our legend. I'm going to center it by selecting this button here. And we can go into other details with color, size, and font, whether we want it bold, italic, or underlined. I'm just going to leave it the way it is and center it. And then going on to next. Here we have the option to set borders, backgrounds, drop shadows, and I'm going to set a border. I'm just going to set a 1/2 point border, background. I'm going to set it as white. Drop shadow. Just for this illustration, you can add a drop shadow, multiple colors. I'm just going to add maybe a 40% gray, and I'm going to add a gap. This has a gap of 10 points, and this basically is from the edge of the text or graphics within your legend, how far it is actually to the border. And this gap allows there to be some space and makes it look very clean. You can also round your edges. That's what rounding means. We're going to add slightly round. Let's add 10% rounding. And we can actually hit preview. And usually it'll actually show it to you on your map, but since my map is covered up, I can't quite see it. I'm going to hit next. And here's a neat feature that I kind of want to focus on is your symbol patch. Most people would just fly right through this one, but this is a really beneficial one if you want to add some character to your legend. Here, your patch, this is the actual symbol that shows up beside the layer name or the description, whichever you may put in your legend. And for this example, I'm just going to keep the width and height the same. But for parcels, I'm going to go in and change my area. And we can change it to whatever we want. I'm going to actually keep parcels as a rectangle. Roads is not an area, but it's an actual line, so I'm going to change it to a S-curve for this example. School boundaries is an area, and I'm going to select park or preserve. And then towns, I am going to select urbanized area. Now I'm going to click next, and this next part, which is usually skipped and which is just fine until you want to get into some really detailed editing of your legend, talks about your spacing between each of your elements that you have within your legend. Most of these presets are just fine. You may find there's something that you want to change and you'd like better, and you can change that here as well. I'm going to click Finish to add my legend to the map. We are going to zoom in on this here. I'm going to right click and zoom to selected elements, and it'll zoom in on my legend here that I have selected. As you see, I have my legend, my title centered. I have 2 columns. You see the symbols have actually changed to the patch that I selected. This adds a nice touch so that everything is not the same. It adds variety to your map and shows that you actually put a little more effort than just clicking a few next buttons in your wizard that you have gone through. And you also see the drop shadow as well. Now, some people like to actually go in further, and you can actually double click this and get more properties than just the wizard provided. Start back with our legend and go back in here with your title. You got some various options here. You can change your symbol to your title. You got your items. You can still remove and select items that you want in your legend. Remember that while your legend is in your map, it's still connected to your layers. So as you add or remove layers, they will be added or removed from your legend. You can change the style of your legend. Currently I have my legend with a name, got my symbol, and then my layer name. You can change it to description, which I have no description for my actual layers. You can change various things here and go through. You can even go into more detail in the properties and actually change more. And get a really cool looking legend with a lot of description if you have that in your layer. Another thing that is really beneficial is down here, change text symbol. You can change this to various elements. I'm going to change the whole entire legend and symbol. There's usually a basic Arial font or a Times New Roman font, and I'm going to change it up a little bit just to show you. I'm going to change it to this gray with a slight drop shadow, I believe, and we'll see that in just a moment. You can also come back to your frame. You see your XY gaps, your rounding that we added, background. Make sure that your gap and your background and border are equal. If not, it's going to look funny when you've got part of your map document showing through your legend because you forgot to fix your background gap between the border and the actual legend. Then you get your drop shadow. You can change it. We're going to, I think it's a little too much. We're going to drop it down to 5 and -5. Then you get your size and position. Maybe you want a particular size, a particular portion of your map to be filled with this legend. You can select that here. Select your position as well. I'm going to hit OK, and we're going to see the changes. My legend has gotten bigger because I changed the font size. Let me zoom to the selected element here, and you'll notice how the font has changed to the gray font, a little bigger, a little bolder, and is basically simple by just going into your legend properties. You also notice that my drop shadow has decreased. It looks a little cleaner. It doesn't look out of place, but makes things look very well. And you can put this wherever you want on your map. I'm zoomed in on my layout, so it's not going to quite look right. But some simple tips that help add character to your legend, help you take you to the next level in your cartographic design so that you can begin to build on your reputation and show that you have more than just the next button clicker, as I could say, in the wizards that provided. You put some thought into it, and you are really providing some high quality maps with high quality legends. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this tutorial. Please continue to visit my website for more GIS information, ArcGIS tutorials. Appreciate the time you've taken now. Please check back often.